Second person has died from the coronavirus in our state, a man in his 60s from Baltimore County. There are at least 149 confirmed cases in our state. We're learning more about the newest patients, including a Naval Academy employee and 2 children. Stetson Miller has the newest developments hitting close to home for all of us.
Inevitable, but now a heart-wrenching reality. A Baltimore County man is the second person to die from the virus in Maryland in just days. Earlier this week, a man in Prince George's County died, also in his 60s and also suffering from other health issues. The governor once again urging people to take this pandemic seriously.
We keep telling people that how important this is to not spread this virus so we can, bend this curve down so we don't have hundreds of thousands of people infected.
There are now at least 149 cases of the virus in our state. That includes a 10-month-old and a teenager. A civilian employee at the Naval Academy has also tested positive. State health officials are now trying to figure out if anyone else has been exposed. The governor has not yet mentioned sheltering in place, but the Montgomery County executive says it's possible.
It's the only known way of reducing the spread of this until there's both a treatment and a vaccine, and those aren't coming anytime soon.
Montgomery County has the highest number of cases, 51. The governor is also asking anyone returning home from spring break to self-quarantine for 14 days. It comes as the University of Maryland announces a study abroad student in Barcelona, Spain, contracted the virus. Governor Hogan has now activated the National Guard. Here in Baltimore City, Mayor Young says they'll provide humanitarian assistance to slow the spread, with help for hospitals and agencies that distribute meals. The Guard is also setting up shop in Prince George's County. FedEx Field could become a testing site over the next week. City Council President Brendan Scott also issued a statement urging people to stay inside this weekend, saying that could save someone's life. On President Street, Stetson Miller for WJEC.
More than 500 contract workers at BWI, Dulles, and Reagan airports have been laid off amid this pandemic. Now, they're demanding money from the airline industry bailout. A union representative says airlines submitted a proposal for $60 billion in assistance, but they claim it does not protect the workers. The union says more than 78 employees at BWI have been laid off. President Trump has said he will support help for the nation's airlines. Well, if you need something done at the MVA, you're out of luck. That's because all branches statewide are now closed until further notice. All previously scheduled appointments are canceled. You'll hear from the MVA when offices reopen and appointments are available again. Governor Hogan has ordered an extension of all licenses, ID cards, permits, and registrations that have expiration dates of March 12th through the end of the state of emergency. Once that ends, you'll have 30 days to get what you need. 17,000 cases of COVID-19 have been confirmed in the U.S. More than 220 people have died. Millions of Americans are being directed to remain inside their homes. Natalie Brand reports from the White House for WJZ.
I hate to say this, but it's true. We are now the epicenter of this crisis right here in the nation's largest city.
Across the country, government agencies at every level are enacting new restrictions to slow the spread of the coronavirus.
If we can't reduce or at least flatten the curve when it comes to the COVID infections, we're going to be in trouble.
California was the first state to issue a mandatory stay-at-home order. Others are now following its lead.
We're going to put out an executive order today. New York State on pause.
President Trump says a nationwide lockdown is not being considered right now, but the president took another step to close the U.S. border.
As we did with Canada, we're also working with Mexico to implement new rules at our ports of entry to suspend non-essential travel.
Experts say keeping people home is the only sure way to cut down on new infections.
I don't think necessarily every single situation, every single region or location needs to be that way, but certainly in the response to the kind of situation that you're seeing in New York, and I think that was an appropriate move.
The needed closures have ground parts of the economy to a halt, triggering what some analysts predict could be an unprecedented surge in layoffs.
The bottom line is very simple. If we don't deal with the health crisis, nothing we do will make the economy any better.
Lawmakers have spent the day negotiating a $1 trillion stimulus package. The proposal includes relief for small businesses, loans to impacted industries, and direct cash payments to individuals based on income and family size.
The sooner you get the cash, the income flowing, the better it will be, because the people a week from now see no hope, you're going to have a lot of social unrest.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the Senate will work through the weekend to hammer out the details. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
We're learning more about who might be more at risk to the coronavirus. Alarming new data from Italy shows men are twice as likely to die from the virus compared to women. Doctors are still scrambling to understand why that might be. People who smoke, vape, or have substance abuse problems may also be at a higher risk because the virus attacks the lungs. Opiates slow down breathing, and the coronavirus can cause additional breathing problems. You have some extra time to file your taxes amid the coronavirus pandemic. Tax day is being moved from April 15th to July 15th. Those who are owed refunds should still file now to get their money, which will be helpful during these tough economic times. This applies only to federal income taxes. The state comptroller has pushed back the deadline for some businesses to file sales and use tax. The original deadline would have been yesterday, but has now been moved to June 1st. The YMCA of Central Maryland has more than 3,000 employees and 140,000 members, and it's one of the largest Ys in the country. But now, as Mike Hsu shows us, the outbreak may put it out of business.
The lot is empty, the machines silent, the pools still at the Ys of Central Maryland.
We had to lay off over 2,000 people, furlough, really, 2,000 people on Monday. That was awful.
John Hoey is the CEO, and he says that 70% of their funding comes from members who can no longer use their facilities. The Y has so many programs, it's helpful to think of them like the leaves on this tree. So these programs, these leaves, wouldn't exist without the trunk. The members are the trunk. Keeping those members paying their monthly dues is why John sent out this letter to 140,000 people. It's got to be tough because you're asking them to keep paying you even though there's no service they're paying for.
That is correct.
He says it's not an exaggeration. If members stop paying, the Y will simply go away.
The question is there going to be a Y to come back to? That's my question right now, and I don't know the answer to that.
Come Wednesday, the Y will partner with the state to offer childcare to first responders and hospital workers, but those additional funds won't even cover their costs. In Towson, I'm Mike Hsu reporting for WJZ.
Until further notice, racing is canceled at Laurel Park in the Rosecroft Harness track. It's all part of the ongoing effort to stop the spread of the coronavirus. The Maryland Jockey Club says its top priority is the well-being of every worker and every horse. Racing will resume when the state and federal leaders deem it safe. Well, not everything is closed right now. Golf courses across Baltimore City are still open. They're making changes to adhere to the new rules from the government. 8 feet separate each player in the driving range. The course is limiting the number of tee times to be available to offer enough golf carts so only one person is using a cart during the round. But golfers are not allowed to hang out in the clubhouse. Well, there are 2 chances coming up to give back during the pandemic. The Red Cross is hosting a pop-up blood drive in Annapolis next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then on Thursday, Johns Hopkins Bayview is hosting an emergency blood drive. To participate in either, you must be screened ahead of time. This comes as the Red Cross faces a severe blood shortage. The coronavirus has forced an unprecedented number of drives to be canceled. If you're a doctor, nurse, or other healthcare professional, listen up. The State Department of Health is looking for volunteers to provide services during a disaster or emergency situation. The Maryland Responds Medical Reserve Corps is now accepting applications. You can even be retired or inactive. The creation of this group is one of the ways Governor Hogan is dealing with this pandemic. And of course, you can stay with WJZ as we continue to follow the latest in the coronavirus pandemic. We have everything you need to know posted now on our website, WJZ.com.